the court's been captured, folks. It's been captured. So we can pretend that the Supreme Court of the United States is this, esteemed body. They wear these robes, and this is one in a million, probably more to make it there. Best and the brightest, they're not political, but they are. They are. Court has been captured. They made Donald Trump a king, and now they're allowing ICE to conduct immigration stops based on race. Wasn't this already settled law? I don't even think they should sit for the picture anymore. This is not the same body. And I'm looking at one who I will never have at the cookout. You know who you are. You know who you are. Say cheese. On Monday, the Supreme Court ruled for the Trump administration, clearing the way for stopping and questioning Latinos who may be here illegally. May. By a 6-3 vote, the justices set aside a Los Angeles judge's temporary restraining order that barred agents from stopping people based in part on their race or apparent ethnicity. Critics of the ruling said it had opened the door for authorizing racial and ethnic bias. Apparently, ethnicity alone cannot furnish reasonable suspicion, said Justice Brett M. Kavanaugh. However, it can be a relevant factor when considered along with other salient factors. UCLA law professor Ahilan Aralantham called it shocking and appalling. I don't know of any recent decision like this that authorized racial discrimination. That's what it did, folks. It said, you know what? We are going to give you a legal right to discriminate based on race. We already knew it was happening, but now you have a legal right. He's right. Kavanaugh's writings, Arulantham noted, speak for the justice alone, and that the full court did not explain its ruling on a case that came through its emergency docket. It's always solving some kind of thing that the king wants, Donald Trump. By contrast, he and others pointed out that the court under Chief Justice John G. Roberts Jr. prohibited the use of race or ethnicity as a factor in college admissions. Oh, when it's convenient. Eliminating racial discrimination means eliminating all of it, Roberts wrote for a 6-3 majority in 2023. That decision struck down the affirmative action policies at Harvard and the University of North Carolina. LA Times reminding us of that. Today, the Supreme Court took a step in a badly wrong direction. Ilyas Salmon, George Mason University law professor, wrote on the Volokey Conspiracy blog, it makes no sense to conclude that racial and ethnic discrimination is generally unconstitutional, yet also that its use is reasonable under the Fourth Amendment. Justice Sonia Sotomayor, in her dissent, pointed out that nearly half of the residents of Greater Los Angeles are Latino and can speak Spanish. Countless people in the Los Angeles area have been grabbed, thrown to the ground, handcuffed because of their looks, their accents, and the fact that they make a living by doing manual labor, she wrote. Today, the court needlessly subjects countless more to these exact same indignities. At issue in the case, the meaning of reasonable suspicion. For decades, the court has said police and federal agents may stop and question someone if they see something specific that suggests they may be violating the law. But the two sides disagreed over whether agents may stop people because they appear to be Latinos, working as day laborers, car washes, other low-wage jobs. Let's talk about the past. 50 years ago, the Supreme Court ruled unanimously that U.S. Border Patrol agents violated the Constitution when they stopped a car on a freeway near San Clemente because its occupants appeared to be of Mexican ancestry. Fourth Amendment protects Americans from unreasonable searches, the justices said then. And a motorist's Mexican appearance does not justify stopping them to ask about their immigration status. I thought it was settled case law. This is going to endanger countless people, scores of people. And as an American, if you're not appalled by this, afraid by this, it may not just affect people you don't necessarily care about or have empathy for. Mexicans, Latinos, may affect you too. Simple mistake. I can't tell you how many times my dearly departed mother was mistaken for being Mexican. My mother knew Spanish, so she'd play along. She didn't care. But she's was born in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Okay. I didn't even know if she's ever been to Mexico. Jamie, the court has been captured. It's not easy to get all of this back when people pray and hope that one day we'll move on from this period and the people who injected these things into all of us will move on. It's not that easy. The legacy is there. The laws remain on the books until somebody else tests them and cures this, if at all. This is a hell of a twist.
Yes, and it unfortunately shows once again another example that this court doesn't really give a rip about precedent set. They have ripped it up in the case of Roe v. Wade. They ripped it up in this case. One can only hope that a reasonable court that precedes it will also not give a rip about the precedent set by this court. But unfortunately, the reality situation is this likely will have decades worth of consequence. This ruling was specifically in regards to ICE, but what's to stop LAPD from interpreting this ruling to be, well, if ICE can racially profile legally, why can't we? We think that Black and brown people will have a higher propensity for crime. So why don't we just stop them randomly just to see what they're doing? Who cares about the Fourth Amendment? Apparently, race is not a factor in what is considered unreasonable search. Apparently, it is now reasonable to just assume that Black and brown people are doing something illegal just by the virtue of the fact that they are Black and brown. I think it is one of the worst decisions that have come out of this court's ruling. We've already had centuries worth of violence done by the state, be it the police force or ICE. So this is effectively, I'm not going to be overly hyperbolic, but a lot of people will be negatively impacted by this, and including, I think, death. Especially the propensity of some jurisdictions of being super trigger happy when it comes to Black and brown people. And now if they can just look at race as a justification for any action thereafter, because once you have probable cause, they take that and run with it. And so now you're telling them, well, race is probable cause. So this makes me nervous, I will say.
Let me tell you something. The hypocrisy, the stupidity of it is what gets me. We can use race against you legally now. We know it's been used in this country throughout the world too against people of color, but we can use race against you to hurt you, to suspect you, to turn you into something that we have no idea whether you are or not actually. But when it comes to supporting you or making good on this country's promise after doing so much damage, like Harvard, University, North Carolina, Michigan, on and on. You can't use race in admissions. It's wrong. It's sick. And until we can reconcile this, including, I don't see you doing any cases where you are stopping white people for crimes that, believe it or not, there are some crimes that white people commit more than others. If you want to just go by race, I don't see any of that happening. But yet, here we are again. Here we are again.